While playing the Generation 4 Pokemon games, specifically the Battle Tower, I noticed something really strange. If you play the local multiplayer mode, where you team up with a friend to play 2v2 battles against the tower, and you have a Diamond or Pearl game select Become Leader, while a Platinum, Heart Gold, or Soul Silver game join them by picking Join Group, then the trainers you fight will become really stupid. They will do things like use attacks that don't have any effect, or try to heal while already at full health, and can even lose by having their last Pokemon use Explosion. This is definitely not supposed to happen. The AI isn't that smart, but it shouldn't be this dumb either. So what's going on? This glitch does not activate, and the AI works like normal if you play any of these games in single player. Or if you link together 2 copies of Diamond or Pearl, or 2 copies of Platinum, Heart Gold, or Soul Silver, or if the Platinum, Heart Gold, or Soul Silver game is the one that chooses Become Leader. Only this specific combination of Diamond or Pearl as the leader and Platinum, Heart Gold, or Soul Silver as the guest will trigger the glitch. But why? Why would the game version of the guest even matter? The reason this happens is buried deep in the weeds of the code that processes the AI assigned to trainers. To start with, data for an opponent trainer is formatted like this. There is information like their trainer class, name, what dialogue they say when they win and when they lose, what items they're allowed to use in battle, and what level of AI they have. The Pokemon they have is actually stored completely separately. For regular story mode trainers, this data is read out of an archive stored on the cartridge ROM. For the Battle Tower, it's created on the fly as needed. And in multiplayer mode, the leader is always the one responsible for creating trainer data, which then gets synchronized to the guest. When the battle starts, the trainer data information, among a lot of other data, is loaded into the battle system. In Diamond and Pearl, when the battle system starts to process trainer AI, there is a check which checks if the current battle is a Battle Tower battle, and if it is, it will always enable the so-called Smart AI. They wrote 7 here, but that's just the number code for the Smart AI. This ignores and overrides whatever AI the trainer is actually flagged as having in their trainer data, and there's no way to bypass this. If you're fighting in the Battle Tower, Smart AI is on. But starting in Platinum, and continuing in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, this check is removed, and Battle Tower trainers are treated like any other trainer, with the AI in the trainer data being used. The reason for this change is the different facilities available in the Battle Frontier use different AI at different times. All of the facilities except for the tower use random AI, then basic AI, then finally Smart AI as the player's streak continues. Each facility will set up the trainer data with the AI it wants to use when it generates opponent trainers. However, just like in Diamond and Pearl, Battle Tower trainers are always set to use Smart AI, regardless of streak. There is again no way for this to be bypassed. The first part of the bug comes from the fact that Diamond and Pearl, when they create trainers for the Battle Tower, never do any setup for what AI they should have, and leave the data field blank. They assume that the AI initialization in the battle system will always turn on Smart AI, and so don't bother to fill this out. The second half of the bug is a behavior that only applies within the battle. When 2 games are linked together for battle, whether as opponents or allies, they will figure out who has the newer version of the battle system, and that game will become the leader for the duration of the battle, regardless of who is the leader for the link outside of the battle. That new leader is then in charge of processing all events within the battle. This isn't strictly necessary. The battle link-up would still function if the older version was in charge. There wouldn't be any kind of desync error. The reason that they did this is probably just so bug fixes that were introduced in newer games are used whenever they're available. For example, Diamond and Pearl famously had a bug where moves that gained the ability to bypass their accuracy check, like because of the move Lock On or the ability No Guard, could sometimes hit through Protect or Detect. This was fixed starting with Platinum. Anyway, prior to the battle starting, the trainer data that Diamond or Pearl created with its blank AI field is sent over to the Platinum, Heart Gold, or Soul Silver game. The only reason the guest game needs this data is for displaying names, sprites, and text. Only the leader needs to know things like AI and items. But as the newer version, and therefore the leader of the battle, the Platinum, Heart Gold, or Soul Silver game is now in charge of trainer AI, and they read out what AI to use from the trainer data and input this into the battle system like they normally do, and this is why the glitch happens. However, this is a double battle, and there is another check here that turns on the double battle AI. This will do things like prevent the AI from attacking its ally for no reason, and encourage things like using Earthquake if the ally is immune to it. This means the actual moves used by the opponent trainers are not really picked at random. This is the same AI you would face in a wild double battle or an early round of doubles in a different facility. Regardless, the AI behaves erratic and stupid, and will happily do things that have no effect, because they have no basic AI to tell them not to. This is more of an oversight than a glitch. Every individual component of the code that comes together to make this happen is functioning exactly as it was intended, with no typos or logic mistakes. And it's not that they did a lazy job of making the backwards compatibility work either. Despite all the changes Platinum made to the Battlefront here, they go into a lot of extra effort in the code to make sure backwards compatibility with Diamond and Pearl is maintained. Just this one incredibly specific detail ended up forgotten.